So just, okay. So ladies and gentlemen, because we do have some gentlemen that will be joining us today, it is an absolute pleasure to be with you. My name is Monica Beazley, and I'd like to start off by acknowledging the traditional custodians and the land on which I meet on today. And I'm meeting on the lands of the Whadjuk Noongar people, and I'd like to pay my respects to their elders past and present. And I'd also like to acknowledge any of the elders in the land in which you are meeting on today, and just so grateful to be in this country, to be in the place that we call home. It really is a gift. So without further ado, I'm going to crack on because we've got 30 minutes and that's not a lot of time to get through everything. We are doing today is imposter syndrome and owning your brilliance and the 3 steps to overcome that. But before we get into that, gratitude is a really great place to start. It's a way of bringing us back to center and focusing on the good in our lives. So when you get a moment, please, could you put into the chat what you are grateful for today? And as you're doing that, I'm going to give you some of the health benefits around practicing gratitude. So we know that through this scientific research of gratitude and focusing on what we are grateful for, there are health benefits. So people that practice gratitude more regularly have decreased cortisol, which allows them to sleep better, actually look after themselves better. So they have better physical health, better mental health, and better interconnected relationships. But also, partly for the reason that you guys are here, is it helps to actually get you on the journey of achieving your life and career goals. And it seems like a pretty big thing for gratitude to be able to do all those things. But as I give you some of the neuroscience hacks today and understanding how this beautiful brain of ours works, we're going to be introduced to a real powerhouse within inside our brain called the reticular activating system. And the RAS, or the reticular activating system, is really in charge of the information that we tell it we care about. So Athena, thank you for that lovely introduction of yourself. It's so nice to just get people contributing to this community. Laura, you had a walk today with your dog Monty. Oh, that's so sweet. Very cool. And Athena, you're grateful for your family and support. Ladies, I encourage you. I know that you've got other things that you could be doing with your time, but you are choosing to spend that 30 minutes with me. So I really encourage you to just check in with yourself right now. Where is your intention? Where is your presence? Because if you're committing to this growth right now, then you're committing to being in this space and you're committing to being in full attention. So I'm going to get you to check in with your body, because we know that our physiology impacts our psychology. So if you're feeling tired and a little bit worn out, and you had a big weekend and your body's a little bit slumped, then that's going to be impacting what you're thinking and feeling. So I'm going to encourage you to sit your backside to the back of your chair, thinking about keeping that back nice and straight, the shoulders nice and wide. And I'm going to invite you now to just take a nice deep breath through the nose with me. And then you're going to breathe it all out. We're going to do 2 more just like that. Deep breath in. And let it all go. Deep breath in.
We've got a little bit of audio.
Deep breath out.
I guess with the
Shirley, I'm going to invite you just to put your line on mute. That'd be amazing. Thank you. Okay, so hopefully now you're feeling calm and settled, and what's happened this morning, you're able to just let go, because this 30 minutes is for you. And what we know to be true is that imposter syndrome impacts about 80% of the adult community. So if you're experiencing that imposter syndrome, that voice that sits in the side of your head that says that maybe you shouldn't be doing this big audacious thing, that maybe people are going to find out that you really don't know what you're doing, that maybe you're a fraud, then you are in safe hands, because I can talk on this subject because I experienced that voice on the regular, and I can talk on the steps because I've implemented them and I continue to implement them in my life. So I'm not here to talk to you to say that I've got it all figured out and life's a breeze and leadership's just works for me effortlessly. It's something that I have to continue to work at, but I want more women to not be held back by their limiting beliefs and not to stop progressing themselves forward because there's that voice of doubt. And we know for International Women's Day that the theme was accelerating action. And my goal on this planet and my mission is to help accelerate action. It really is. It's to help incredible women and men who want to be allies to females in supporting women getting into leadership positions, because we know that when women get into leadership positions, organizations are more effective, more efficient, and research shows that it absolutely positively impacts the bottom line. So I want to support people achieving their dreams. And I know that imposter syndrome is just a piece of that puzzle that can be holding us back. So first of all, I believe that imposter syndrome and confidence have kind of been confused and interlinked. So I just want to demyth some of the things around confidence to begin with. Confidence has nothing to do with being the loudest person in the room. Confidence is not being the first person to speak. You do not need to be the funniest, the most charismatic, the most extroverted. And you certainly don't need to have the absence of doubt in order to call yourself and embody a confident person. If you agree with that, I'd love to just see a thumbs up, because I know through, and you can use your emojis if that's easier. I know that through our lives, we've been sold a couple of lies, we've been stitched up a little bit in terms of what we think confidence looks like. When we were at school, the confident people seemed to be the ones in the popular crowd, and they were the ones that just didn't seem to have any issues in life. And if you weren't in that crowd, you just identified as not being confident. And as we grow into adults, we've got to start shaking off some of these myths that aren't actually serving us and achieving what we're here to achieve. So confidence for me is about being comfortable in your own skin. That is a vibe. That is a sense of peace that I'm looking for. Confidence for me is being the same person in any room I walk into. So if I'm with my girlfriends, this is who I am. When I walk into a room to of 16-year-olds and I'm going to go teach them about confidence, I'm the same person. And then when I'm with company directors or big corporate organizations, they're going to get the same version of me, because I believe that she is enough. That who she is and how she shows up is enough. Not perfect, not funny, not the most charismatic, but who she is at any given time, on any given day is enough. And for me, that's confidence. So I want you to just have a think about what confidence is for you and whether that resonates for you or whether that feels good. So let's get into our 3-step action plan. Step 1 is rewiring your inner critic. Now, I don't know about you, but my inner critic, if I'm not feeling 100%, she's even louder. But I've worked out that our thoughts create our reality, but we get to choose what those thoughts are. And I know you're probably thinking, Mom, that's really hard, because the thoughts are just automatic. They're in my brain, I think them, and then whatever they tell me to do, I just kind of do. But we've got to stop and think whether those thoughts are actually serving us, whether they are getting us closest to the outcome that we're looking to achieve, or whether they're actually taking us further away. We are in control. And in order to get full control, we need to understand a few things about the brain. The brain has a negative bias. That means it's focusing on what's wrong rather than what's right. And in the 6,000 thoughts that we have a day, 90% of them are normally repeats from the day before. So if you feel like I'm not enough today, I don't have the identity of somebody who's confident, and really I just think that I'm winging it, guess what you're going to think tomorrow? your thoughts tomorrow are going to reflect what you have today. So if you're not vibing the thoughts that you have today, if you're like, you know what, Mom, these really aren't supporting me. I have big dreams. I've got to make a big impact. My organization, my team relies on me to show up in a certain way, but I'm scared inside. I really doubt myself, and that's okay. Your reticular activating system has been programmed to believe in the doubt. And we are going to reprogram that. And it's not going to happen in this 30-minute seminar, but it is going to happen over time with the tools that I give you in this 30-minute seminar. So a bit of a science thing around the reticular activating system. It sits in our brain and it is the filtration system of our body, because we can't absorb all the information that we get on a daily basis. There's thousands of pieces of information coming at us every minute of every day. So the brain is very intelligent. And so it says, you tell me what you really care about, and I will provide you more information associated with that. Here's the thing though, we develop a confirmation bias because of our reticular activation system. So if we believe that we're really not good enough, our brain doesn't know the difference between whether that's a good thought or a bad thought. It just knows that's a thought that you're continually having. So it develops a confirmation bias and it continues to find you evidence to prove that thought correct. Here's more evidence why you're not good at this, Monica. Here's another reason why you shouldn't be doing what you're doing, Monica. Here's another example why people doubt you and you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. Now you might think, why is my brain so mean? Why is it trying to be the enemy to what I'm trying to achieve? I don't want those thoughts. But the fact is, you've programmed your brain to believe that those thoughts are important, so it's finding you more evidence. So if you're interested in knowing more about the reticular activating system and some of these neuroscience hacks, there's a great book on your screen right now. It's called The Neuroscience of Self-Love by Alexis Fernandez Prixart. She's also got a podcast, which is really cool, short, sharp episodes, but lots of great value there. And I think that for us, it's really an ongoing journey about understanding how our incredible minds work. They are highly efficient. They're looking for the path of least resistance, and they're providing it's providing us the information that we tell it that we care about. So what we're going to do, and this exercise is from the book that Alexis wrote. She said, affirmation statements are great, but if we don't believe in them, they won't have any impact. So if you stand in the mirror and you're like, I am strong, I am powerful, I belong here, but your belief system, could you kindly share the name and initials of the books in the chat? Yes, absolutely. I'm just going to do that now. Oh, Pippa, you can't see the slides?
No, mine can't see anything. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Just everybody's faces.
Oh, well, I mean, vibes, but also.
Yes, got it. Thank you.
Okay. Don't worry, you didn't miss anything. This was the slide, Rewire Your Inner Critic, and your thoughts create your reality. And then I showed you the book there, so the neuroscience of self-love. So just thank you so much for letting me know that.
Thanks, Mon.
No, pleasure. All right, so the reticular activating system, we've learned about that. What we want to know now is, how do we actually rewire this brain? Thank you for giving us the side story on the science, but what I really want to know, Mon, is how do I actually change that thought of I'm not enough, I'm doubting myself in this scenario, people think I'm silly, I should just keep quiet, they don't want to hear from me. How do I stop those thoughts? Well, we reframe them. So if you've ever been a part of a debate team, there's always two sides of an argument, right? There's always the for and the against. And what I want you to do is be both teams. So I want you to think about a doubt or a limiting belief that is currently popping up in your life. And I want you to make a note of that in your notebook or in your notes section of your phone. I want you to write down a limiting belief. And now what we're going to do is we are going to do the counter argument. So we're not going to try to trick our brain into believing something it's never going to believe. We are going to do something based on evidence we already have in our life. So an example of a limiting belief that I hear from my clients is, I'm just not qualified, Mon. I'm not qualified enough. The counter argument that we might say is, I may not know everything yet, right? And we never will. But I have the skills, experience, and adaptability to learn and succeed. Here is a list of the things that I have figured out and delivered results when I wasn't qualified on paper. What you are demonstrating to yourself and to your brain that you have evidence that you've already achieved things when you didn't have a formal qualification. I've got another example for you. I just got lucky. So many of the phenomenal people that I meet in these careers say, I fell into the role. And because they fell into a role, they then feel unworthy of being there because some people had to work incredibly hard. And so they tell themselves, I just got lucky. The counter argument to I just got lucky is opportunities don't just fall in our laps. I showed up. I put in the work and I positioned myself for success. Here is a list of the skills, choices, and actions that got me here. Do you see the difference? Rather than just saying, I just got lucky, no, I'm worthy of being here, we're actually working with the rational part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, and activating that and being like, right, here is the hard evidence of the things that I've done that proves that it wasn't just I won a lotto ticket. I actually had to show up. I actually had to have the right conversations. I had to be willing to be vulnerable. I had to be willing to kind of get involved in something that I didn't have all the answers to do. And the last example I have for you is I feel like a fraud. Any moment, people will realize I don't actually know what I'm doing. It's a scary thought. But the counter argument to that is feeling like a fraud doesn't mean I am one. It means I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm growing. Here is a list of times that I've actually delivered results, received positive feedback, or overcame challenges, proving I'm more capable than I give myself credit for. The reframe argument is pretty convincing. Now, you don't have to use that word for word, but I encourage you now that with your limiting belief, you write your reframe, you write your rebuttal for your debate team on what the other side of the coin looks like. And once you've done that, I'd love you to inspire others by sharing your reframed statement in the chat. Acknowledging that we can inspire each other. Sometimes we get told that don't be boastful and don't share what you're really good at. But I couldn't disagree more. When we share our brilliance with others, it doesn't mean that they don't shine as bright. It means they feel like they have permission to shine bright too. So once you've written your reframe, once you've got a really good rebuttal, I'd love you to write that into the chat. We're going to kick on because step 2 is about owning your success. And again, this is going to feel uncomfortable. So I'm acknowledging this now, that part of you is going to be like, Mon, I got taught not to tell everybody what my successes are, not to celebrate them too hard because people are going to think that I'm full of myself. But this is a safe place. Today, we're going to share our wins. Today, we're going to share our successes because when you win, we all win. And through International Women's Day, we talk about, accelerating action and making change. We don't change if only one woman receives success. We change when women as a collective lift each other up. when men that we work with see our success and celebrate it. We want to celebrate each other. So first of all, let's get into some science, the dopamine loop. We've heard about dopamine. It's one of the neurotransmitters in our brain that is linked to motivation, pleasure, and learning. Every time you celebrate a win, you get a little hit of dopamine. And what we know through habit stacking and the work by James Clear in Atomic Habits is that when we can create healthy habits and get a dopamine hit, we want to do it again. It also creates a positive feedback loop. So the more we recognize our wins, the more motivated we feel and confident we are to take on bigger challenges. But what we fall into the trap of, high-powered, ambitious leaders, they achieve a goal, and what do? Next, on to the next one. Achieve that, on to the next one. And we don't stop to breathe and realize just how far we've come. What a great success we've achieved. So your brain literally strengthens the pathways for self-belief the more you focus on it. So whilst I encourage you find a community of people that you get to celebrate your wins with, you need to start by celebrating the wins with yourself. So activating that reticular activating system, I just want to read out Athena's. A self-limiting belief for me was, will I succeed in my new role in a new industry? And my counter argument, I have demonstrated in the past that I can take on new challenges, new roles, have a curious mindset. I'm open to learning and growing. I've been able to succeed and thrive. I can do this again. I've got this. Oh my God, yes. Celebrate the shit out of this woman, please. That is courage. That is bravery. That is stepping into her power. We need to see more of this. Continue to put in your reframe statements. We need to share this, each other's wins. Tracking your wins reprograms your reticular activating system, reinforcing confidence instead of reinforcing self-doubt. So if you're currently reviewing your RAS and going, man, she is giving me a lot of negative evidence that I am not available for anymore. Great. Now what you know you need to do is start giving her more evidence of just how brilliant you are. Hey brain, guess what I did today? I showed up for myself in a 30-minute webinar because I believe in self-development and self-growth. Hey brain, guess what I did? I overcame a really challenging morning with my kids, but I kept my cool and I maintained composure. Look how great I am. Hey brain, I had a really hard day today. I navigated lots of challenges, but I came out learning more about myself. Your brain is going tick, 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 bing, dopamine, reactivating, reprogramming your reticular activating system. So your action for this step, think of 3 wins or challenges that you've overcome or feedback that you have received that's been of a positive nature. Write them down. Drop them into the chat and over time create an evidence journal. You cannot underestimate the power of this step, the power of actually acknowledging, stopping on a regular basis to see how far you've come. For me, it's on a Sunday afternoon. I like to just look back and go, what went well for me this week? What am I really proud of this week? And what have I missed? What do I need to look forward to doing in my next week? So I'm just going to have a look at Monica Carter, limiting belief. I'm not good enough to create and run a business, and who will work with me? And the counter argument is I've always showed up in my previous jobs to show that I was more capable. I was capable of more. I showed up, I put the hours and hard work to learn new positions. I adapt easily and thrive when I'm growing and striving for success. I have always had companies that wanted me, and I know that I've left all my jobs with positions still open to me. Powerhouse Mon. Yes, so good. I hope just by reading these yourselves, you're starting to understand the power of this reframe, the power of the counter argument. I'm not against an affirmation statement. I truly am, but this goes one level deeper. This is rewiring your brain to truly start to believe in this statement, because you're not saying things that you haven't done before. You're telling it what you have done. All right, step number 3, take bold action. Okay. First thing that we need to know about our brain is that fear and excitement have the exact same physiological response. Our heart rate increases, our breathing gets more shallow. We've got a tension in our body. It's like this. The only difference between fear and excitement is the belief in the outcome. So if you're standing in the line of a roller coaster, some people are like buzzing, this is going to be so fun, that's me. And then other people are sitting there being like, oh my God, this is going to be so scary. It's the exact same event, but the experience looks different because of the belief in the outcome. So how are you currently getting in your way? Because you believe in a negative outcome. How can you shift from fear to excitement? Our girl, Mel Robbins, she created a book. She's got a movement about the 5-second rule. This is backed in scientific research. The prefrontal cortex, the rational part of our brain, can override the amygdala, the fear center. But it only has a 5-second window. The longer you take to step into bold action, the more the fear center of the brain gets to kick in and go, babe, don't do it. This is scary. We haven't done this before. Step away from the ledge. Don't go on the roller coaster. Don't step in front of that meeting room. Don't work in a new industry. Don't put your hand up for a committee. This is scary. But if you do something within the first 5 seconds, you will do bolder actions than you've ever done before. So your action for this one is, what's one action that you can take today to own your brilliance? It doesn't have to be big, but it does need to be something that you know you're getting in your own way, because action is the one thing that breeds more confidence. A confidence masterclass will only get you so far. You need to actually step up to the mark and do the brave thing. So what's the one action that you're going to do? Put it in the chat. Are you going to speak up in a meeting? Are you going to apply for that job? Are you going to go and volunteer at an organization that you felt too shy to go and be a part of? Action breeds action, and inspired action creates confident leaders. So now let's have a look. Final statement. Imposter syndrome isn't proof that you're not good enough. Imposter syndrome is actually proof that you are growing, that you are stretching your limits. And I haven't had the opportunity to tell you a story about the biggest imposter syndrome for me and how I overcame it, but I'll tell you on another time, because I respect that I've given you a 30-minute window, and I'm so grateful that you have spent these 30 minutes with me. So just to recap your 3-step plan, friends. Number 1, rewire your brain. Become the expert in creating counter arguments to the negative beliefs that your brain provides. Step 2, own your success. Start writing down your successes, writing down the positive feedback that you receive, and record the challenges that you have overcome. The challenges that you've overcome are just as important and should be part of the evidence journal. And then step 3 is taking that bold action. Stepping into that 5-second rule. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Do the thing. Say yes. See what happens on the other side of inspired bold action. If you require further support, I would love to support you. I've got a free leadership playbook on my website. It's, I think, 10 to 20 pages with things on how to lead for impact, have more confident conversations, deal with difficult conversations with more confidence. Or if you're looking for a more holistic, deeper learning, I do have my She Rises program. More information on that on the website, but that is designed for female leaders that are looking to get to the next level in their leadership. Team, I ask that if you got any value out of today's session, if you could please just share something on your social media, even if it's on your story, that will really help me and my business to reach more people and achieve my passion of accelerating more fabulous women into leadership roles. Wishing you the most fabulous, wonderful day and week ahead. Wishing you nothing but success, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you so much.